Good afternoon. Hello to everybody that is in this call, and just ready for us to be able to travel to LA to play against a good team and in a place that we always excited to play in that stadium, in that city against this team. So focus on the match and ready to be able to be competitive.
Okay, we'll go into questions and begin with Sam Spiller, Stumptown Footy.
Afternoon, Gio. LAFC team, they have a new head coach this year. They have a few new faces, some experienced players from around MLS. So I'm curious, what type of game are you expecting on Sunday? Are you expecting something similar to the LAFC games you've had or games against you've had LAFC in the past? Or are you expecting maybe some new tactical wrinkles, and just how are you preparing for that?
Yeah, interesting. Just they have a new manager, so there's things that they're going to change, and also I think he's recognized that there's some strength that he can continue to utilize. That you see, that the team still does in last game that they play against Colorado. So the speed of their front players is a threat, of course. We'll see now if they will have also Arango or Poku, which one will be part of that attack. But that's very much, what we already know from them. Some of the things that they used to do and the way they run, the way they try to get space, they try to get mobility. And the thing is, I think maybe one of the things that this team does a little bit more is they're more direct. They try to build up maybe in a different way that they did before. We feel that definitely some of the things resemble themselves in the past, but also some of the new things we've been looking into it, and we prepare, very well the group in order to make sure that we know exactly the things that they're going to try to do and their strengths and the weaknesses. So we'll prepare, and what is going to be the same is the stadium, the atmosphere, the support of the fans, the competitive nature of the match. That's for sure is going to be the same as we used to.
Okay, we'll go to Ryan Clark, Oregonian.
Hey, Gio. So what, in your view, do you think is it going to take to try and contain Vela? Obviously, Vela has had a great start to the season. What do you think it's going to take to slow him down?
I mean, his quality is one of the best players in the league. He's one not only that can find good areas and build up and construct a good attack, but he's also one that can finish well in so many different ways. Some of the attack that they're looking for, with his speed, with his quality, with some of the things that he does well. So we have played many times against them, against him. So we have our plan in place and making sure that we, cut the areas that he feels more comfortable, be aware of, his runs and just make sure that we try to disconnect some of the things that he does in their team in order to make sure that we manage the situation. But Bell is always a difficult player, and I'm sure that he's gonna make this game even more fun.
All right, we'll go to Ari.
Hey, Gio, thanks for the time. I was just asking Zach McGraw about this, but I wanted to kick the same question to you. These games with LAFC in Portland, as you mentioned, they always seem to be very physical, very intense. They tend to be very high scoring. Does it feel like these games have a bit of a rivalry element to them in the Western Conference, with Seattle obviously being your primary rival, but do you notice similar derby type elements when you play these guys? Thank you.
I think, and you mentioned, I think the true derby or Clásico, our arch rival is always going to be Seattle and our Cascadia competition with Vancouver. But I agree with you. I agree to the fact that our games have built up in a different way. They have become a little bit more competitive than other matches for different reasons. And I think, they might be sometimes a little more physical. Sometimes they're play a little bit of a high intensity. But every game, I think, has been competitive enough to be exciting for the fans, for the players. Ultimately, there's always been, in my point of view, respect between the players. But once the game is going on, these matches have been always good competitive, either here in Portland or in LA. But they don't escalate to the level of competitiveness in regards to the derby that we have with Seattle, for sure. That's a true derby. As much as for them, is they get the Galaxy in their games against them, most likely the most important derby that they have.
We'll go to Paul Danzer, Portland Tribune.
Hey Gio, Saber played a few minutes last week. Is it possible that he can get a more prominent role this week? And also, can you make any clarification on Tega's injury and his status?
Yeah, Paul. So as I mentioned in the press conference before last week, we hope that we had 5 to 10, 15 minutes for Seba, and he played around 10 minutes, and these minutes are good for him to keep on building. It wasn't an easy match. It wasn't an easy match because he was playing to a very high intensity. So coming from the bench and jump right away into it is not something very easy. Nevertheless, his quality always finds way to be dangerous, and he looked very good in practice this week. So we might be able to add some of the minutes, and we'll continue to progress that way. We'll continue to make sure that we get more and more every time, every day, every practice. He looks more like himself, and we're getting closer for him to continue to add up minutes. He's traveling, he will be there, he's ready to play. He looked very good today in the things that we did in practice. So I think it's about us making sure that we continue in this path and in trusting him in the way he feels, and every day he's going to be able to help us more and more.
Okay. Paul had a follow-up there. Let's go back to Paul.
Oh, I was also curious about Tega, his status, and if you know more than you knew last time we talked.
Yes, so that's a delicate subject with Tega. We probably will put an announcement soon. I don't want to use the wrong word of what he's facing at the moment, but he's in a situation right now, health-wise, that is not ideal, and we just have to make sure that the doctors continue to monitor and work on the things that he needs to do in order to get healthier and better, which hopefully is going to be 3 to 4 weeks, in which we hope that he can start now feeling better. He's in the facility, he comes here, he's with the guys, but he's not practicing with us. And as I said, soon enough, I don't want to make the mistake to use the wrong terminology, but soon will be, an announcement made to keep aware everyone in regards to his health issue that at the moment he's facing, and we are helping him to get through it. There seems to be a positive belief that everything will be fine, but at the moment he's managing that situation.
Thanks, Gio. We'll go to Joe Becker, K2.
Gio, good to see you. The last couple of years have really been challenging in life and sports, and things are coming around. You've got fans now. How good does it feel to be getting closer to normal? And do you have one concern maybe that stands out over the others?
I mean, it was so complicated to play with our fans. That moment that we went through in 2020 made us reflect again and understand what is the most important part of this game, which is the support of the fans, the environment. Yes, we love the game, we love to play, and we had to be competitive regardless. But when you add the fans, when you add the passion, especially for our fans in this beautiful Providence Park Stadium, is completely different. And we're starting to feel back again the atmosphere, the environment that we know about for Providence Park. In the final, I mean, there's no words to be able to explain the feeling that we had being at home, playing the final. The celebrating the Mora goal was phenomenal. Unfortunately, you know what happened after. Mm-hmm. But even against New England, our fans are great, and the passion that they transmit to us, we feel it, and it pushes us to be better. So it's such a big difference to have fans, and the league continues to grow. So Charlotte is going to have most likely a crowd that is going to be a record crowd in Major League Soccer, and we continue to see other stadiums and venues that continue to show that fans, at the end of the day, they're the most important thing of any sport, for sure.
Okay, I have time for a couple more. We'll go to John Rojas next.
Thanks, Ed. Gio, gracias por el tiempo. Dos que están conectadas. La primera es las diferencias. Yo sé que la cantidad de video o ejemplos que puedes ver todavía no son suficientes, pero la mayor diferencia que podrías ver en este LAFC al LAFC de Bob Bradley. Y lo otro es, yo te puedo confirmar que Cristian va a estar, Arango. ¿En qué cambia, obviamente, ese ataque con Cristian ahí o sin él?
Sí, bueno, saludos, John. La verdad que es un equipo más directo, es un equipo que sigue utilizando algunas de las cosas que hacían muy bien con los tres de arriba, con Vela, Rodríguez y si es Arango o Poku, hay diferencias y ya voy a tocar las diferencias entre ambos, depende de quién juegue. En la media cancha, quien juegue, sea si Fuentes, si juega Acosta, seguramente va a ser Ilie, Blessing, tienen otros jugadores, Ginela. A la final, el concepto es de rotación, de buscar espacio, de abrir espacios, de tratar de conseguir las pelotas en posiciones para poder generar largas pelotas por detrás o pelotas entre líneas para conseguir desbalancear al contrario. Pero por el otro lado también creemos que podemos conseguir espacios. Hemos visto videos y creo que podemos tener ciertas rotaciones y movilidad que nos puedan dar la posibilidad de causar también problemas cuando ataquemos saliendo desde atrás. Es un equipo que le gusta apretar rápido cuando pierden la pelota para ganar la pelota y inmediatamente hacer una transición veloz al ataque con sus jugadores rápidos. Y lo que cambia entre Opoku y Arango es que Arango es más 9 en relación a aguantar pelota. Es uno que tiene movilidad, pero busca más el buscar y dejar atrás la pelota, más usando su cuerpo y después yendo al área, consiguiendo espacio, más que tratando de conseguir el espacio en lo que es el primer pase. A diferencia de Opoku, que es uno más rápido, que busca siempre el juego directo hacia atrás y la pelota en el 1 contra 1. Entonces, va a ser interesante quién de los dos va a iniciar. Seguro Arango va a tener minutos y bueno, el grupo está bien preparado para lo que tenemos que enfrentar contra ellos.
Okay, we'll close it up with another question from Paul Danzer.
Hey, Gio, we've Paredes and Bonilla signing extensions this week. Just talk a bit about how satisfying is that for you and your staff to see young guys grow to this point and beyond, and how important is it in building and maintaining your culture and your vision for the club?
Yeah, so first of all, in order to maintain the culture, you need to have players that have experience, that have been here for years and in the league, in the club, and they believe in the culture that we have. So they are the ones that pass along to the young players that culture. And we're excited about the young players that we have. Santiago Moreno, we know what he's capable of. We've seen Paredes, Eric, Bravo, and now Ayala as well, that little by little he's going to adapt in order to get better. But even guys like Niesgoda, 26, 27 years old, and all those Loria, I mean, we have a big group of youngsters that are developing in this transition that we're going through. So our average age is 26, and we're very happy to be able to know that these players that are now developing and growing with the experienced players are making us our team being a team that is not only for the today, but also for the future. So we're excited about that. We're excited about what they can continue to provide. And I really believe that all these players will continue to grow.